Hi there and welcome. Greetings. My name is Anita and I am your Sherpa. This is the Storytelling Sherpa. My voice, my journey, my lane. No agenda, no outcomes, just the transmission of presence from body to body. I'm actually recording episode number 3, right? Episode 4. Episode 3 just dropped yesterday. I am recording episode 4 to you in Brisbane, or as I call it, Bris Vegas, up here in Queensland. I am currently holding and facilitating some sacred space with the medicine of the drum and my voice, and playing a drum sound bath and healing. I played one yesterday and I'm playing one tomorrow. So today is my integration day, and I love that I'm integrating in a whole completely different space and a different way. And just a little side note on the MBS, the Mind Body Spirit Festival, it was amazing. I had people up dancing, moving, releasing, and really allowing that inner child that was told not to be seen and told not to express and be heard. Boy, did they really come out. So I'm still buzzing on that. So you're more than welcome to receive that energy from me. Though, let's get started with episode 4. Also, I wanted to let you know I've committed to 13 episodes in one season and 2 seasons a year. And in the second season, and what I really want to do is invite people to start having their storytelling conversations and sharing their stories and getting to where we need to get to as a human race and as an evolving culture. So we are going through many changes. Anyway, that's a whole other show. I've been observing something unsettling in our culture, in social media, in the influencer world. And yes, I might just include myself, even though I'm not an influencer, inverted commas. Yet my reflections, my posts, and my commentary, I have to own that if I'm not careful, I could be feeding the same loop I'm critiquing. I don't really want to use critiquing. I don't know why I chose that word in the first place. Sitting here right now, I don't want to feed that beast anymore. So it's about having an awareness of which beast we're feeding. Actually, even the natives talk about it, and they ask, which wolf are you feeding? Here's the truth. Influencers have enormous power to shape human experience. And I guess the reflection is to see the world we live in, perhaps too afraid to look through the lens of truth. For influencers are a reflection, aren't they? Yet almost none of it reflects the raw reality of life in 2026. Gaming, alcohol, diet hacks, curated perfection, all designed to drive clicks, cash, and external validation. Meanwhile, our inner worlds are quietly collapsing. Stress is high, cost of living is squeezing us, grief, exhaustion, and overwhelm all around us. And yet, we don't talk about it. We don't show up real. We don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And to be honest, my observations, most of us don't even know how to be real and vulnerable anymore. Perhaps we never have been because we never were taught to. And here's the kicker. We've forgotten what it feels like to truly be happy. Not the highlight reel happiness, not the stage smiles for clicks, real, grounded, body-led joy that's been buried under performance, distraction, and fear. I talk about happiness as of late. I have sat with that emotion, asking myself, where is it? What does it feel like? Can I even remember it? At this moment, it feels foreign as we all collapse the daily grind of rinse, sleep, repeat. Have we become too numb to allow ourselves to feel the juicy parts of life as we seem to be drowning and keeping afloat with the current doom and gloom through the uncovering of the true world we have been inhabiting. Seeing now what we couldn't see, that which was in plain sight, now that the spell is slowly dissolving. And yes, we have been under a spell. And I do want to say that COVID, in all of its ugliness that it brought to the world, the most beautiful blessing it actually allowed us to see, removing the veil and giving us all an opportunity to see where we are in life and how we want to change and what paths we want to take. Some of us have made changes, and unfortunately I still observe some haven't, still refusing, still resisting. I speak about this collapse today not to shock, not to blame, but to illuminate, reflect, and inspire. Because real change starts with truth, presence, and sovereignty. You know how much I harp on about sovereignty? Because let's be real. That's what they don't want us to have, is the sovereignty. Whoever they are, and there's just so many different versions of who they are. You know what? Let's flip the fucking social script. Why can't influencers shift their power? Why can't they influence vulnerability, authenticity, real fucking human struggle? Instead, the loops we scroll through feed distraction, gaming, alcohol, cosmetic perfection, lifestyle hype, all to keep us reactive and consuming. Even my own reflections could feed this loop if I'm not conscious. So I speak from alignment, not reactivity, from sovereignty, not validation. Here's my riff. Sovereignty is choosing who you are and what you do without waiting for permission, aka starting the storytelling Sherpa. I do practice what I preach. Instead of performing for the algorithm, for clicks, for the external gaze, we act anyway. That's disruptive. That's freedom. That's what it means to be sovereign. Bang. What I'm noticing right now is hard to ignore. The world feels like it's collapsing inside, yet most of us are holding on, pretending it's business as usual. Social media overflows with curated influence, comparison loops, and performative happiness. I pause here and ask myself, am I feeding the same loop? Are my reflections, my posts, my voice, ripples in the system, or genuine threads of sovereignty and presence? The question is where this episode truly begins. Today we explore what's happening internally, what we've forgotten about happiness, and why influence, as it exists, is a program. We'll also explore what it could truly be. Everyone wants to be an influencer, but why do most push superficial brands, quick fix hacks, or distraction loops instead of real stories? Vulnerability, rawness, life's pressures, cost of living, anxiety, grief. Grief is a whole other conversation of complexity, as many are not conscious of current grief, of the identity of self and its collapse. And grief is not just about losing a loved one who has transitioned over and crossed over. Grief is also about losing yourself. Losing yourself, the old perceived version of you. And the reason why I get emotional as I share this is because I am on that precipice. I am on that threshold myself. As I see those elements of my old self, and I'll just use yesterday and today and tomorrow as a past, present, future timeline to give you a visual, because the person that I was yesterday with my Madonna headset, feeling so natural, playing my drum, feeling everybody's resistance in allowing their inner child to come through and just holding that sacred space. That person would not have existed in the old identity. And that's why it really, there's that identity of my old self that is collapsing and coming through into this new. I'm going to say new. Though new is not the right word. And the new is not the word, because we are beings who communicated and expressed before language even existed, through tones, through vocals, through body movement. So I guess what I am now uncovering and getting to the core of is I am shedding those human elements of language and label and validation and performance, and really getting to the core of the vocal, the body, the presence, the embodiment, the sovereignty, pre-language. And this may make sense to some people, and it may really land and trigger something and activate, awaken something within the body and the template. And for some, it could be just some fucking woo-woo shit. Yeah. The old identity of self is collapsing. We are evolving for those who choose to evolve and move. And we need to acknowledge that grief. As we say goodbye, we are saying goodbye to those old elements of ourselves. Yet, how many of us really sit and grieve that little girl at 3 who was so fucking scared by a German Shepherd to now who has a dog who sleeps with her and is her best friend, and the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old at school who couldn't talk because she was too embarrassed to say the wrong fucking thing, to the teenager also, you know, who was coming into her self and then's told, no, do this, no, that, yeah, XYZ. So there, and then you know, I can go into it. There's so many elements and life stages and life cycles that we do not grieve. So that's why grief is a really big one, and I just really wanted to touch on it a little bit. And there definitely will be a future episode. So I continue. Social media feeds these reactivity loops. People project wounds. They talk about, you know, I've just seen, and I'm observing maths, all the past contestants commenting on the, you know, the new contestants. And it's just a recycled emotional soup. And yes, I pause here and reflect. My own thoughts, my posts, my reflections could be part of this loop, and no fucking doubt they are. But at least I notice it. I name it and I question it. So here's the flip. Real influence isn't clicks, cash, or algorithm wins. Real influence shows humans how to feel, act, and move sovereign. Real influence disrupts the perform and consume program quietly, subtly, powerfully. Here's a truth bomb for you, because you know how much I love them. Spiritual and social, inverted commas, performance is a program. Compliance, curated happiness, external validation. Social media only amplifies it. We're chasing the past, observing and watching the Instagram challenge from 2016 to 2026. It just kept loops. I mean, oops, it was a challenge, right? It was just a fucking loop, keeping you longing for what we had. Overriding your body with the mind stuck in comparison and distraction. Being tricked to think it's a fun little trend when really it's feeling a whole hidden beast. And there's so many aspects of our daily lives that project the fear, the anxiety, the scarcity. That is what feeds the hidden beast. And so many of us do it unconsciously. Real sovereignty, that's invisible. It's body-led, It's rebellious. It's disruptive because it requires staying inside the system while quietly collapsing it from within. I observe and witness and see so many spiritual beings having a human experience who want to escape the matrix. But a few years ago, I was the same. And then I had the inner remembrance of, you need to be in the system to break the fucking system. As I've got like still emotion flowing through me in sharing my real life in the living moment, the realization that I had about grieving the identity. So bear with the sniffles and the reset as I carry on. So the observation of the influences and the puppet script, that's what I'm calling it. We scroll, we post, we repeat. Influencers copy paste each other. Same prompts, same scripts. You know, you can see certain brands when the celebrities or the influencers are, you know, it's just too obvious. Where does this come from? The agenda, the program, the algorithm. Influence has become performance. Clicks, again, likes, cash, not truth, not human. Now what I want you to do, is participate with me. I invite you to close your eyes, one hand on your belly and the other on the heart. Inhale for 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 4. Release. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Imagine real influence. Feel it in your bones, sitting around a fire, sharing vulnerability, rawness, struggle, real human experience. And then, ultimate dream, playing the drum and just dancing and singing and bringing through that primal energy, that primal force that is our innate default system. And everything we consume on all levels, food, breath, words, mind, living, environment, toxicity, chemicals, everything is all designed to shut down that primal force. And this is not curated perfection, not an aesthetic distraction. Sorry, I can't speak. It's the energy just flowing through my body. What emotion does? Your body desires to reconnect. Being an influencer without a script, without the system telling you what to say, how to look, or what to chase. Are any of us conscious of the influence we project? I see this in my work with job seekers. So many wait for a role to appear on seek.com or any other of the platforms, feeling powerless, as if life itself is something happening to them. But then the shift. When they take sovereignty, create the opportunity, claim ownership, everything changes. Life outside stays the same, yet everything inside shifts. Influence works the same way. Stop waiting to be told who to be, what to do. Step in. Embody it. They begin to embody the potential of a dream job, a dream life, feeling it in their bones, flowing through the system. With a wink of hope, they begin to see through the eyes of the heart, open and on step in moving. I started a group. We are now entering week 3. I do a 5-week program every cycle, and we are week 3. And I saw the change in them in week 2, you know, when they're like, I can't come because I've got an interview. That's where the energy starts shifting. That's where we start removing that tension, that resistance, the blockages, the fear, the self-fucking worth. I guide people to take ownership of their destiny. Whoa. Instead of waiting for a job to show up, they craft it themselves. And that principle, it isn't just about work. It's life. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for a sign. Don't wait for someone else to tell you who you are, what you can do, or when it's your turn. Act anyway. Claim it. Move in the world from a place of your own authority. This quiet, unseen claiming is sovereignty in action. Let me give you a real example. In my work with job seekers, I see people waiting for someone to tell them they're ready, waiting for validation before they act. But here's what I teach them. Don't wait. Create it. Own it. Build it yourself. Take responsibility for your path. And the magic is real. When they stop waiting, start creating, start aligning action with capacity, they transform not just careers, confidence, alignment, sovereignty. They realize they can respond to life instead of being reactive to it. They take ownership and they become empowered from a system that has empowered them. Now let's reflect. Let's reflect this back to life. Waiting for love to appear. Create space for connection instead. Waiting for the divine masculine to awaken and rise, meeting the divine feminine. Finding the one who validates your inner self is the one. And what if there isn't the one? What then? Slight interjection. The whole twin flame program. Another hook to keep you disempowered in pain. Pain and sacrifice is what they feed off. The outer system needs it to survive. Waiting for inspiration or creativity to strike, show up in the world anyway. Say yes to every fucking thing. I said 2026 for me is stepping out of my comfort zone, exhibit A, and saying yes to everything. Waiting for health, presence, or happiness to be handed to you. Listen to your body. Choose presence. Take sovereignty in your own hands. The pattern is the same. Stop waiting. Start embodying. Start acting in alignment. This is how the system loses its hold, because predictability and reactivity are its fuel. We've forgotten how to be happy. True, messy human happiness. Vulnerable, raw, present. Most of us don't even know how to be real anymore. We chase distraction, performance, nostalgia. That's the system's design, keeping us stuck, reactivating the past, feeding loops. Why can't influencers share raw, real, vulnerable stories about life as it is, about struggle, about how the cost of living is crushing people, how anxiety and collapse are real, how our inner world is crumbling? Instead, the program rewards dopamine hits, beauty, lifestyle, fake perfection, clickbait positivity. And yes, I notice myself in it too. My reflections, my posts, my energy can feed the same loop if I don't pause and root in presence. That's why inner lane work is critical. We start with our body, our spine, our nervous system, not algorithms, not followers. Let me be honest. Who really gives a shit what an Let me start again. Who really gives a shit what an influencer is doing? Who cares what they had for breakfast, what gym set they wore, what brand of fucking water bottle they're drinking and promoting, what school drop-off looked like this morning? Like, let's be fucking real. We all fucking do it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be really real, raw. Their shit stinks like your shit at the end of the day when you go to the toilet. And yet, we care. Why? Because watching someone else's curated life momentarily removes us from our own hot mess of a life that it is. If their life looks shiny, filtered, effortless, then for a second, we don't have to sit inside the discomfort of ours. If they look happy, certain, successful, then maybe the ache is in us. Maybe the ache in us quietens. If they don't seem chosen, adored, elevated, then maybe we don't have to feel overlooked. It's not admiration, it's displacement. We look up because it's easier than looking in. And here's the part people don't like hearing. Their shit stinks exactly like yours, exactly like mine. Sorry, I got too excited before. I'm not even going to apologize. I retract that. They argue, they doubt themselves, they get anxious, they sit in messy kitchens. They wake up flat some mornings too. But the program edits that out. Humanity is being subtly trained to consume identity instead of build it, to watch life instead of live it, to observe instead of embody. And what does that serve? Attention economies, advertising pipelines, predictable consumer behavior, which quietly looks like it's all collapsing because of what's coming on with like potential WW3, which a whole other program I'm not going to go into right now. When we scroll through everyday mundane moments, school drop-offs, grocery hauls, cleaning routines, we're not just watching life, we're normalizing comparison. We start measuring our mornings against theirs, our kitchens, our bodies, our parenting, our energy. Even the mundane becomes performance. And here's the deeper hook. When everything is content, nothing is sacred. Humanity becomes programmable when it is distracted, when it forgets its own authority, when it believes someone else's life is more valuable than its own lived experience. That's what it serves. Not evil masterminds in a dark room or off planet, just systems that profit when you forget yourself. So again, who really cares what an influencer is doing? Maybe the better question is, why have we been conditioned to care more about their life than our own alignment, our own life? Because the moment you turn inward, regulate your nervous system, which has now become a trend, align your spine, act from your own authority, you stop being predictable. And predictable humans are profitable. Sovereign humans are not. This keeps your edge. It plants the seed without becoming ranty. It connects the behavior to systems. It returns power to the body. For those regular listeners, there is no Sherpa interlude because today there is just way too much to express. The world is speeding up, collapsing, yet we pretend it's business as usual. Our inner world is fracturing, bodies, minds, hearts overloaded. Forgotten happiness, real presence, vulnerability, connection stripped from us by system design. We crave what we had, perform what we think we should, scroll endlessly to replicate the past. Instagram loops, influencer culture, compare narratives, corporate narratives, all designed to keep us reactive, comparing, stuck. Pulling back, refusing performance, tuning into body and nervous system, that's revolutionary. Sovereignty isn't flashy, it's subtle, but it ripples outward, changing perception, influence, and life itself. Now the real flip. Real influence doesn't... I can't really speak anymore. Now the real flip. Real influence starts with vulnerability, real stories, real struggle, being messy, authentic, human, not perfect, not filtered, not for likes, for presence, for sovereignty, for joy remembered. So here's the final invitation. Strip back the bullshit, the comparisons, the what used to be. Stop performing life. Stop waiting for external approval. Hey, I do it myself. Feel your body, align your spine, reclaim presence. Act anyway. Be sovereign, be vulnerable, be messy, be alive. Just be. Because real life doesn't live in memory or algorithmic loops. It lives in you, here and now. That's the disruption, that's the joy, that's sovereignty. That's the story we get to write, not the one the world keeps recycling. Here's the real talk. Life is squeezing humans right now. Our inner worlds are fracturing silently. Everyone is holding on, pretending it's business as usual, while systems crumble internally. We've forgotten how to be happy. We've forgotten how to show up real and raw. Sovereignty matters, not as philosophy, but as practice. Decide who you are. Decide what you do. Decide how you show up. Let vulnerability, curiosity, and presence guide your choices. Even if the world is reactive, oversaturated, or performative, you act anyway. That is rebellion. The system cannot predict. That is freedom that heals both internal and collective loops. This is the moment to strip it all back, to stop performing happiness, to stop chasing perfection, to stop outsourcing validation. Act, feel, be, live, create. New episodes drop weekly. Seeds in time. Pause, breath, remember presence for you, for me, for the collective. Here in the Storytelling Sherpa, your story, your pace, your presence. Big love, beloveds.